Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
I've gotten word from the boss here, we're unmuted. And I'll watch the clock and make it exactly 9 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock. And I am opening up the Waupaca County Law Enforcement Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. This meeting and all meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with the state statute so that the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. We have an agenda before us. I called the meeting to order. I read the open meeting statement. Roll call. Apparently everyone is here. Kim, does it look like it?
Except for the sheriff.
Except for the sheriff himself. I need to have a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
So moved, John.
Seconds. Motion made and seconded. Any contrary to that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Minutes of the previous meeting. That would be our May meeting. Any additions or corrections to that?
Correction, you got my name misspelled again.
They can't spell Rick.
It's the Erdl.
Alrighty. I'll accept a motion with the correction of spelling supervisor's name properly.
Looks like it's only in that first paragraph. Okay, President.
Yeah, they got right after that.
Yeah.
Next time, right?
Yeah.
We keep working at it on that.
Yeah,
Move to approve, Johnson.
Alrighty, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any contrary? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Any public comment from the citizens? We happen to have two people from the public here, actually. We have Ms. Turner, our district attorney is here present today. Appreciate that. Thank you. Anything you want to say or anything?
And here is audience.
As an audience, all righty. Oh, thank you.
If anyone has any questions available.
We appreciate that, seeing you. And then we have a county board supervisor, Scott, is here. Anything you want to say, Scott?
I'm sitting in to learn.
All right. Very good. Good to see you. Let's go down to our review of bills, please. Carl, we got anything in particular that jumped out at us?
On page 7 at the bottom of the page. When I see cartridges and ammo, we're on almost. Tyler, we're almost on a 6-month wait for anything as far as shortage of it, or you just.
Right, for the rounds, sometimes we waited longer for bullets than 6 months even. Wow. So we order routinely. So we
Kind of
kind of
a
look ahead and say, okay, we got this training coming through the end of the year, we're gonna order now, so we have next year. That's what we've been doing 3-4 years for sure.
I think it was ordered in October.
Like Barney Fife, one more.
Soon.
So I just wanted to make you aware, and the cost, that's the other thing, is on the register, it is very expensive. That's thanks, bleach.
That'll help.
Anything else?
Page 11, is this, I was gonna ask, Adam, with the well path, is that the new one that we, off the new contract, or the sub-top, added contract?
It was June was gonna be the new one.
Okay,
Sometimes they bill ahead of time.
Yes, yes, Mr. Captain.
I'm on page 8 and I don't know what it is, but the blend pair of golf course, but they golf out in the 8 yard sets. Came out of there pretty good.
I don't know the exact.
Yeah. Very similar to last year, so.
Yes, we have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Sometimes, don't we? Remarkable. Anything from supervisors at all? For our information for our guests here, we did have to increase our health costs contract for the health things. How much was it? $10,000 more a month?
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, starting June. All in all, Carl, we're doing pretty well, huh?
Yes. And I can make a little mark on that.
Can I have a motion to accept as reviewed the monthly bills, please?
Much so moved.
There's a second to that.
30 seconds.
A motion made and seconded that we accept as reviewed the bills for the month. Any contrary? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Communication Center news, please.
Right, for the month of May, you can see our numbers in all categories pretty much went up, and a lot of that has to do with we come into summer, which is busier. But the 911 hang-up calls have dramatically increased. Last year at this time, we had 250 for the month and like 63 missed dials. That's taken up a lot of staff time, both on the full and dispatch side. Last week, we went live with Next Generation 911. We're working on implementing text 911. And in a couple of weeks, we have a new employee, Autumn Schubert, that will be starting Monday, April 6th. And that's all I have.
Any comments, questions, Aaron?
Point of procedure. When you get a 911 hit, you call back then to see if they're there?
If they hang up, yes, we call back, try to triangulate a location, look at the address, or if we know who the caller could be, we try to look at all those, the address history, the caller, possible caller's history, and then send officers,
You send someone every time.
pretty much. Right? That's where our policy is. I mean, it's getting tough. There's times now where they're overriding and saying, everything seemed fine. But with the exception of like healthcare facilities or somewhere where there's staff, that we can talk.
This is statewide because the chief deputies around the state, we have a base camp where everybody's on an email chain. It's from the top end to the bottom end of the state about these 911 calls that have been coming, and it's the volume is unbelievable. I mean, you can hear four calls within minutes, one right after another, and it's kind of a feature. And I just said educate as much as possible on Facebook as far as being careful as far as the use of your phone and such.
And it comes down to manufacturer the cell phone, make it so if you hit your side button, so many times in a row it falls. So what I've been reading from some of the things that I've been looking at is this isn't going to change until legislatively they make them turn it off by default and then educate people on how to turn it on if they didn't need it for some reason. But it's not press con.
Yes, sir.
I mentioned this before, I believe it's not only the cell phones, but my business phone in my business office. When I dial out, I got to dial 9-1 and I already had 2 1s. I didn't know it, but when Clint's finance came in, asked me if I was okay.
But that kind of stuff is truly a abnormal thing. That's not how these calls are coming in. The majority are cell phones, the majority of them are well, now with Apple's new one where they have the crash detection, So you have somebody participating in sports and stuff, to watch them all. They drop their phone calls, but the majority of the buddies.
Any other comments?
So are you fully staffed now?
With
Are
that,
you fully staffed now? No.
no, and we're, even if I could hire enough people today, my next challenge would be having enough people to train them.
Yes, Rick.
Comment about the dispatchers and this came up at our officers meeting in the fire department the other night. Background. People in the background, people are making, where they're dispatching, you know, we're hearing a lot of people in the background laughing, talking. Just make sure that your dispatchers know that that's coming through, the microphones are coming through. So just make them aware that that stuff is coming through. I'm sure it's coming through on phone calls too. So just to make them aware that that is happening, that it should be cognitive of what going in the background.
Yeah.
While they're talking. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you on that. Any other questions, comments? Supervisor, otherwise you'll place the communication center report on file. Correction division, please.
There's really nothing new on the number side of it. What we really have is updates on employees, and perhaps we're technically down 7 at this point.
Wow.
We have 1 in the training phase that just started, which, what is that, 6? We had one that was supposed to meet with Dr. Fico and did not return any phone calls, did not show up. Just stopped the background process completely, and she had experience. So we have 1 for testing today, 2 other ones in the background, and 2 interviews today. So we're just kind of moving forward, just trying to see what we can find, but it's kind of looking bleak, just to get rid of the county runs. Other than that, I really don't have anything else.
Comments, questions? If not, we'll place that on file, please. Detective division. Perfect timing.
Yes, thank you. 7 search warrants were conducted in the May. We had a drug overdose death back in March, and we made an arrest of that case. That person is currently in custody at the jail here. And we have a interview scheduled for Thursday. We have 1 opening right now, and we have 5 interviewees.
Good. Any comments? We'll place that as well on file, please. Patrol division.
Thank you. Month of May 2023. Reportable crashes 25, 30 a year ago. 0 fatal crashes. We had 1 a year ago. Number of vehicles involved in those 25 crashes, 38, 41 vehicles last year. 10 injured, 5 injured last year. Crashes involving impairment, 2 compared to 3 1 year ago. Reportable crashes year-to-date numbers. So far in 2023, 171 compared to 177 last year. 0 fatalities in Waupaca County. By the end of May this year, we were at 3 last year. Traffic arrest citations for the month of May, 406. Year-to-date, 1,963, and that compares to 405 and 2006 last year. OWIs are drunk driving, impaired driving, 19. Year-to-date, 123. 1 year ago, 11, compared to year-to-date numbers last year, 66. K9 involvement, 17, for a total of 106 by the end of this year, or May of this year, 24 and 104 last year. There were no SWAT callouts. No information, SWAT changed anything. We have personnel news. We have several openings. We have 1 still in training. And we have 2 currently other openings that we're in the process of trying to fill. We're doing a background on 1, interviewed somebody yesterday, and I believe we're going to start a background on that person. So I have.
Very good. Any comments, questions? All righty, we'll place that on file as well. Records Division, Kim.
Nothing needs to report, just our revenue we took in last month. The K-9 revenue was obviously from the golf outing, and I did find out that our total we brought in was 13,340. So that added to that total there. Other than that, I have nothing.
Well, thank you. Place that on. Chief Deputy report and Sheriff at one time, I think.
All I want to bring out is, when we were talking about check register and finances, I got end of month and at capacity, we're at 38. But I thought that number, I got to examine that number. It's because some of our capital projects have not went through yet, and we had 200. I'll get into that with the carpet bid, but we had our capital projects being our squad cars, carpet, towers, and all that other stuff hasn't gone through yet. So 38 is a good number. I like that in coming into the half year mark. Hopefully we can stick with that all the way to the end. It's been, yeah, we'll try. But otherwise, there's not much more. I can bring up the fact that quite a few of the members of this department went to the wellness symposium over in Green Bay. And there's a big emphasis around the state, not only with, everybody was pretty much invited. It was fire, law enforcement, health professionals, and everybody went there. And that's the big emphasis. And when I went to the chief deputies meeting in Waupaca, I think I might have touched on that. It's peer support and wellness. And like I said, it's hard to find officers, and it's even harder to find good officers. So you got to keep what you got. Got to keep what you have, and try to do the best for them. It's a lot different than my days where suck it up, guy. You're going to work a long time, and now it's a little different. I appreciate it. I can see the distress, and I can see the stress, and I think we have to do that for the good of the department. And I'm glad we're steering in that direction. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. It was a good symposium. There was 400 there, and it's only the second year they brought this up. And it's outsized right now. They think they probably got to go to the Dells or something to fit the next group. It probably at 600 or more. So that's it. The only thing I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Do we offer things to it, like counseling or I mean, if there's an officer who's troubled and feels distressed, is there someone we have locally that we can provide an avenue for them to get
Yes. We do have, and I'm glad, for debriefings on critical incidents. We've been doing that now for the past 5-6 years at least. And I could tell by a lot of other departments, they're more progressive than we are, but it's just learning about what are available as far as people and professionals that can help in law enforcement, because it's a little different, that and fire and everything else, but we're trying to make inroads as far as that goes. I think Gold Cross, they're the ones that help us usually.
The last couple have been through Gold Cross. We also learned at this mental health symposium that the leader team will assist with those. I don't know if we're gonna try reaching out for them. Or
Yes.
Gold Cross.
But sometimes I'm not a response to a specific incident where they have seen something that's distressing. Sometimes it can just be a cumulative effect.
Yes, that's,
All the demands. I mean, it's just an incident and stuff.
yeah, there's I think it's Marquette County. Every month they have a clinical psychologist that talks to every officer. It's mandatory. So other departments are getting more progressive in that stance too, which if they like it, it probably to air, I always called it in my day bumper talk. You sit out somewhere and all the officers, that was the decompression we had.
Yeah.
But it's good to have a different person to talk to, and sometimes you get more out, sometimes less, they just don't want to talk to anybody, but as officers, you know.
We're gonna be working on the growth.
The county offers,
EAP.
EAP, the county offers all county employees.
So that's,
And in the past, if we've identified an employee that needed more, Mandy has said there's extra money in the EAP budget that we can do extra if we identify somebody in the special circumstances.
Yes, I'm certain you can always improve those services. Sounds like we're-
It's just good that the officers know that there is help out there, so.
we used, to- I suppose it's my aging, there used to be the old guys who go, "No, you don't have any old guys anymore." Everybody else are young. I think maybe it's just that I'm getting older, but remember when it used to be the old guy who'd been around
Yep.
decades, you go, talk to him.
How easy is it to get into EAP? I mean, is it like all the other health services where it's a long wait? Or is this something that they can get in when they call?
I personally don't have any experience with it, but I've been told it's simply as a phone call and within hours you're talking. to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
To be that.
good to know.
Anything else, Carl? That's covered pretty much, and the sheriff's report, pretty much, both things. So we're putting this,
Medical thing today as far as not being here. He'll be here later, but he didn't want to miss that appointment.
appointment on that. So Kim will put whatever you think it's best on file for that. And we'll move on to protective status.
I guess there's not a lot to really report on that. We're still waiting on clarification from the state. So I guess at this point, I could just ramble, but there's no point of it, and we'll just wait till we get solid numbers and we can talk about it from there.
We'll just keep it on the agenda. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
State rate, Carl.
State rate, you might have a sheet in there. I just wanted to make you aware, I'm not trying to dust anything up or anything like that. But when you see the billing and such, we try to adhere, when we have training, and it's a big push statewide and everything, training. I just wanted to make you aware. I was curious, are we at the numbers and such? And time we get jammed up in the per night lodging is when you have second party and third party billers, but you have to say, I need it at state rate. So I just wanted you to be aware, if you ever get approached or you ever see something in finance, we are a little bit low on the per day meals. And I know that's a cost item that would be in the finance department. But the going rate, and especially when we send some of our officers down to the Milwaukee, Madison area, you're at a higher, meal rate, and well, everybody knows meals, 3 times a day. But we're at $35 a day, and we work within the confines of that as best we can. But I just thought it was interesting to see this, and I just wanted to make you aware with our training, and you get to see the check registers, just so you know where we're at as far as our meals and our lodgings. I thought it was interesting that I don't believe I've ever presented it, but I just wanted everybody to be aware of it. Yeah.
Mr. Keppen,
Yes, sir.
does that come up? Does per diem come up in legislative? And
I would say
every year?
start, I would think.
Yeah, okay.
So you're saying that Waupaca is $35 for meals?
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa.
Per day.
per day?
That's per day. It'll be 2 meals. You can have water and milk. Then do we have to think about pushing that forward? I mean, well, let's get realistic. If we have to, we have to. I mean,
Yes, I understand. It's a finance thing, and with raises and everything added in, it's a finance thing. I just.
I don't know, but I'm on that committee, but I mean,
And I can
so I would,
understand the hardship that I get approached by certain officers. Some have the means to do it, some don't.
yeah,
Them are the ones I feel, bad for if they're scraping by.
right, yeah,
I think it should start with
Legislative
then they can
chapter 2
revert
okay,
finance.
all right.
and get it over. to-
Yes, boss.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Thank you. Yeah. All righty, thank you, Carl.
Yes.
How about a communication tower, something other here, we have Andy.
So we were approved in the, with ARPA fundings to replace the Simcoe Tower. It's an old guide tower. So we need an engineer to develop the plan for erecting the new one and taking the old one down. We had a consultant engineer that we worked with since 2009, who had just retired. And so now we have to find a new one. And we put it out for bid, and the first round, we didn't get anybody. I actually got one 2 days late because he read it wrong. So we put it out again. We got three bids back. The first one that we threw out was 50,000 more than everybody else. Then that came down to a company in Minnesota, and then Blue Wing, which has got some offices around different places. Blue Wing was recommended by the engineer that we used to use. He sent most of his customers over to Blue Wing. I had some conversations with him. His bid came in the lowest, Blue Wing did. And then the second one was this company. I don't know what the name of it is here. This logo is so small, I can't read it.
USA.
Is that this one? Yeah, the 29,000.
Yeah.
RFCC. So I don't put a lot of cream in any of their references because they're only going to put the best people in there. But I noticed in this one from Minnesota that they did work with Raycom down in Iowa on 3 different sites. So we use Raycom for all of our radio stuff, and I asked through their channels on what their engineers and people at Raycom thought of working with this company, and I got 3 different answers, and they were all run. They didn't have a good experience with that company. They were the middle bid. I would recommend that we go with Blue Wing. Their bid was like 21,500. I would recommend that we go with them.
That would be a motion, Kevin.
There's 2 options.
There's 2 options. The other option, he's got a higher option, and that would include making the plan for moving all the radio stuff from the old building to the new building, all that stuff. We'll use Raycom for that, our current provider for the radio stuff. So they were just throwing that. And there's when you put up a tower, you can't just dig a hole and put up a tower. You have to do all these studies to make sure that you're not killing any butterflies or anything like that. We normally take that on. I took that on when we built our last 2 towers, and that was part of that 40,000. And he even said most of the locals just do that themselves. And he'll just send me the info on who I need to contact for those studies and stuff too. So we'll just do that in-house and go with the lower bid.
So option 2 is kind of just a turnkey.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that we don't need that we already have in place.
Perfect.
So it's option 1?
Yeah.
Okay, 21,500. Mr. Johnson, you want to make a motion to accept that?
So move.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to accept the $21,500 option 1 from Blue Wing. Any contrary to that? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well moved. Thank you very much. Next, we go to another carpet approval. What do you have for your suggestion?
Well, carpet's been here over 20 years. So we had some preliminary numbers early on that's why capital's at 200,000. And I thought that sounds like a fair number after I'd seen the 911 project and the carpet here and in this room and such. We went down that path, finally got the bids out, and we had three different firms that came here, did the site visit. We ended up with 2 bids. One was from, I always pronounce wrong, Greg Air Tile Incorporated, and then D&H Interiors. So one was firm out of Green Bay was $86,800, and then phase 2. Why they put phase 2 in? We had it redlined as the records area because that's another capital project. It's 75,000 or so. So it'd be done in 2 phases till they complete or open up that records area that, and they added it in and it was fine, you know, as far as reviewing the bid. Second bid was D&H Interiors that came in at $77,227. I knew Gregor Tiles work because they did all this. But I did some checking yesterday and I called them up and I questioned, do you have everything in place here? Cause you're almost $20,000 difference as far as. He said, everything that was on your blueprints, everything that was on your maps and everything else is added in there and both phases as far as the records area. So I checked a couple references, of course, just like Andy said, they don't put bad references in here, but they said they did a good job and it's on time. And I was familiar with the bids and such on this project, the 911 project. There was change orders and there was everything else. But as a recommendation to you, I'm willing to take a chance. If there's 20,000, hopefully not. I don't expect it. It could still be well under. You wouldn't even hit the 100,000 mark, which is under capital. So I'm making a recommendation for D&M flooring out of Appleton as far as the carpet project here at the sheriff's office.
Is there a motion to accept Carl's recommendation?
So move, Johnson.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion or questions for Carl? That was a good plan. Thank you, Carl, for that. Okay. All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything to the contrary? So moved. Thank you very much for that. Medical examiner's report.
It says April.
Yeah, April.
I think
Yep.
I didn't
April.
correct it.
Oh, just the date.
Yeah,
This is actually May's.
I believe so.
Okay. Won't change.
For natural deaths, we had 45. One accidental, it was a fall, person was placed on hospice. One suicide, one pending autopsy. One for informational, it was a COVID death. I still have to keep track of the numbers for DHS. For a total of 49 deaths, 17 were burial, 32 were cremations, and that's all I have.
All right. Any questions or comments for a medical examiner? And we'll place that on file and change the actual thing to May. Please, if you would. Anything the supervisors have done recently, or Kevin or board chairman have anything that he wishes to comment on? Anything going on? Be quiet, huh? Good to hear that.
Something they can't talk about.
That's right. Best not to. Well, we will certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
Johnson, so move.
Yeah, but second.
Motion made and seconded. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Good job, Chair.
It's 9:33. I said 9:30, so.